Hi, hello, it's Kim. Good to be here with you today. I am coming to you from Berkeley, California, where a car was just honking outside. So I'm like, what's happening? And I just came back from a walk. Sorry, I'm a little warm. And just enjoying a nice sunny afternoon. I'm happy to join you on these Tuesdays to talk about whatever people want to talk about. I, as normal, have two beverages. I'm a two beverage kind of girl, and I'm happily beveraging. So glad to be here with you, and I'm here to answer your questions. Talk about, hey Pat, it's good to see you. I know I don't always catch you. Glad to talk about whatever questions you want to talk about. Whatever. I did a live today with my friend Alyssa, talking about coaching Q&A, and now I just had a little lunch a little while ago. Oh, it was a while ago. Anyway, and went for a walk, and now I am here for our Tuesday. I got a new shirt. I'm like, is it a little? I don't know. I got a new shirt. I'll show you. Oh God, that was very booby. Sorry about that. So I like the little ruching in it. Anyway, so this is not the right setting for the for the showing off the shirt. But anyway, I got the new shirt, which I like. I think for summer, it's like a good length. I don't love my arms. I've got a lot of loose skin. So I don't know. It was just a good summer shirt. I felt good about it. So I like a little upscale t-shirt because t-shirt weather, and I'm a casual girl really. So but I like a little something to my t-shirt. And I have like t-shirt trauma, right? I have t-shirt trauma from when I was real big and like a kid, because I was big as a kid, right? And I'm 5'9", so I'm just would be big anyway, like bigger than a lot of other kids. Because by the time I was 5'6" in like the 4th or 5th grade, so like I was never like little, right? So I was already bigger than the other kids, but then I was also heavy. And so I could only ever get like the boys t-shirts, like whenever there was like a t-shirt thing at school or in a club or a something, I could only fit in the boys sizes. I couldn't get a girl's t-shirt. And the boys t-shirts were always made of really like heavy material, and I hate that heavy t-shirt stuff. And so I just have t-shirt trauma now. I just do. Anyway, so I like a nice light t-shirt, like a super lightweight t-shirt. My boyfriend hates them. It's so interesting how that's gendered, really. But he's like, I feel like I'm going to break it. I feel like I'm going to damage it. I'm going to, so anyway. So it's nice to find like a t-shirt, like a shirt that fills the t-shirt space that doesn't feel like a t-shirt. Anyway. That's a very long explanation for my t-shirt. Anyway, it's thanks, Kathy. I appreciate it. I got bangs. I haven't had bangs since I think elementary school. No, I had them in high school. A little bit, but yeah. So I appreciate it, but it's been a while. Hey, Platte River Keto, nice to see you. I'm glad you enjoyed the live today. We just did some Q&A. Pat says, had a brisket and a half of a keto chow creamy. That sounds delicious. My clothing style is stuck in a rut, says Pat. Yeah. Oh God, the light just changed. It's one of those like sunny, foggy. So the light is really changing outside the window. And I think it's good to shake it up and, wear new clothes. I really have to work on it. I give my mom a lot of shit. Sorry about that, everybody, for the language. That's my anyway. I was like, there's no other thing here, because she's shorter than me, and has always been smaller than me, but has never been, super. She's never felt as thin as she really is. I think that's a common experience for a lot of people, and because of that, or I don't know, maybe it's just her style. She likes clothes that are way too big for her. And so I'm like, look, Kim, you can't give your mom a hard time about the clothes being too big and then continue to wear too big clothes yourself. So I have been trying to wear clothes that actually fit me. So that's what this shirt actually fits me. And these pants, though they're super casual cottony pants, they're actually the right size. So I'm trying to wear the right size clothes. And I like shopping a lot. I like going out and trying things on too. I mean, I like I like the way they look. I think after years of shopping, I always liked shopping, but shopping in a way that um I would buy things that were flattering. And I think now I'm having the first experience of my life that like I have one outfit that I'm like, I don't think this outfit is flattering, but it makes me happy, so I'm wearing it. It's like a jumper. It's like a jumpsuit. Like it's not a pantsuit. It's like a romper. So but it doesn't have a fitted waist. Like I look at it, a romper. For me, like my thing is if the waist isn't fitted, I look bigger than I am because I have a big chest and kind of big hips. And so I have to tighten things in at the waist or else it's just everything just looks big. And so this romper doesn't have a fitted waist, but it's super comfy. And so I've been wearing it and been like, it's okay. I'm like working on my brain being okay. Like it's just a fun outfit, not a flattering one. And I go back and forth. Since I lost the weight, I like really like the whole like flattering thought. I have to really like, I don't know. It's like I go either way. I have to think about it. I want to be able to just be like, what I look like shouldn't be the most interesting thing about me. And so if I want to wear just something for fun that is fun and comfy and feels good, like I should be able to do that. And at the same time, sometimes I want to make sure I'm not wearing schlubby clothes all the time because then there's a way that I kind of hide that way. So it's like I got bounced back and forth. I don't know. What are you guys' experience around how to dress now? Especially if you've lost a lot of weight, finding your style, your new style. That's something that I think a lot of us have to work on. Like what is uniquely our style? Because I think when you're bigger, like you kind of just have to go with a style, if that makes sense. Like my style was what I found attractive at Lane Bryant, right? Like I couldn't shop in lots of different stores. There were only a few stores. And so what those stores had, I had to pick what I could get from those places. And so, that's part of my journey and like discovering what is my true style. And I agree with Nancy, comfort is king. Like I said, like, I look for flattering yet comfy clothes. Like like these pants, they're just, I don't know, you can't, like, this is terrible. You can't see me at all. I can't back up because there's a wall. But they're like yoga pants. They're like super comfy yoga pants. Anyway, just I'll have to stand further from the camera someday. But there is something right behind me. And so yeah, I don't know, but I think it's finding your right style, finding your right place in the world of clothing is so important. Like what you can, like what is your actual style. And yeah, Platte River Keto agrees with me. When you can only shop at the big and tall, there isn't that much to choose from in the way of style. Like you can do a little bit of pattern, you can like get rid of the stuff that's really terrible, but like what actually fits you, you're like it's sort of like people used to say, like, if you go to some foreign countries where maybe they like more like communist countries or wherever, like they have like don't have as much shopping. It's a smaller selection of foods. I used to hear people say this in the 80s about Russia, like there's one bread. Like I don't know if it's true. This is what they would say, and I think it's true. You want bread, you get the bread. Here, they go to this is why I remember this. We had foreign exchange students from Russia in my school when I was in elementary school, and they would come and they would be like overwhelmed by going to Safeway or whatever grocery store because they're like, we don't have 30,000 breakfast cereal choices. And so, coming into me being overweight most of my life, now shopping, granted, I'm shopping now as an almost 50-year-old compared to like, 20-year-old, and sometimes you feel differently about how you want to look in things. But yeah, having a wider variety of choices can be overwhelming sometimes, or not, but what, I don't know what your guys' experience is, but that's something. Pat says, I've always felt bigger than I am because I am top heavy and short. Yeah. So Pat, I'm tall. So that's a little bit helpful with the clothing, I think. But um I but yeah, one of the things I've had to realize, like, there's a very, like, I don't know, the busty people out there. The busty people, the big bust people, right? Top heavy people. I'm like, I feel like I have my choices are slutty or matronly. I'm like, where's the happy medium? Either I'm like all covered up and then I just look sort of meh. I look like a lump. Or I'm like lower cut, more fitting. And then I'm like, is this a little much? This might be a little much. There, I'm like, finding that like sweet spot in the middle is challenging. Yeah, we all have challenges. I think it's just, you have to laugh sometimes because it is what it is. God love my boyfriend. He's always like, more cleavage, better. Whether I'm around him or not, he's very secure. Very secure about all that. He's like, why are you covering yourself up with a giant, shroud? Anyway, proud to be very well. The choices we have are also a problem. Yeah. So there's like overwhelm with too many choices, not enough choices. It's hard. It's with everything. It's all about finding your happy medium. And I think that's a hard thing to do for sure. So, it is what it is. I'm feeling, pretty good, pretty happy, pretty, accepting of what is. This perimenopausal thing is not for the weak, but I'm not in a bad emotional place, so I feel good about that. Sometimes the anxiety can be a thing with the hormones and all that, but I'm doing good today. I think I'm a sun girl, so the sun being out, going for a walk every day, it's like a good mental health experience for me for sure. My dinner plans, well, I don't know what you guys have planned for dinner. I just made some cauliflower rice. I like to make that earlier in the day, so it's like ready at dinner time. And we have some tri-tip, so I'm going to do cauliflower rice and tri-tip. Going to be easy. Pat says, I have often tried something on and thought I'm too sexy for this shirt. Yes, right? Yeah, it's really about finding the things that really suit you. I hate that kind of sudden realization that you like really just aren't feeling comfortable in your clothes for one reason or another, whether you feel like it's not setting you off to your best advantage or you're feeling a little exposed, or it's a hard line. It's a hard line for everything. I found this picture of myself today. I was thinking I have to make like some sort of meme with it. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's me. That's my mom in the back. I have bangs like her now. But I don't know if you can see that. That's me. You got lights in the way. Like 23. I feel, well, I see. Trying to angle. Oh, there you go. I'm like 23. And I don't know if you can see my face. Don't look happy. I mean, granted, it might have just been a moment, but I just was thinking like, I am double this age. Because I was thinking I was somewhere in my 23, maybe I was about to turn 24, and I'm turning 48 this summer. And this is in summer. So yeah, so I was like half my age there. My eyebrows have been overplucked, I see. So you can tell it was the late 90s. But gosh, it's good sometimes when you come across old pictures or you look at yourself and you think like how much, how far you've come, right? I mean, I know I'm not young. I don't look younger if you looked at me close up, but I think I feel younger than I did then. That's my sweet family. So that's right after I graduated from college. That's my mom, dad, brother. Anyway, but Yeah, I don't know if anybody has looked at a picture of themselves from the past. Like I did, early in my journey, on my health journey, I think I looked at old pictures of myself more and was like, had a real like kind of before and after mentality about it. But now, it's been years since I've really done much of a before and after thought around things, I think. And just even now coming across old pictures of myself, it's hard sometimes not to feel like a little bit of regret. I don't know if anybody else fights with that a little bit of regret around wasted time and that kind of thing. So anyway, that's just some thought, random thoughts from Kim. Great, a question, because I just talk until somebody asks a question, and then I really like answering a question. Um, Rita says, can you give some tips on getting started, like small steps to losing weight? Sure. So the first thing I would say is, you have to find a way of eating that prioritizes good nutrition and at the same time, your happiness and your fulfillment. So what I mean by fulfillment is like feeling full, feeling satiated by food. And for a lot of people, that's going to be sort of a lower carb approach, a whole foods approach, right? Because highly processed foods are, Rita, I don't know how far back you want me to start here, but I'll start here. Because the more highly processed foods we eat, the less satiated we are on less food, right? So when we switch over to eating things like meat and veg and whole foods like that, and what I mean by whole foods is like meat, vegetables, even maybe some fruit for some people. If you're diabetic or have significant metabolic issues, maybe not. But rather than, grains and bars and pastas and breads, like those are highly processed foods to me. So switching over to more nutrient dense, more filling foods is a great just food switch to make. And if you can make that kind of food switch, it can be very helpful to feeling more satiated as you're eating. And as you can feel more satiated and you can cut out a lot of the crap food, then you're going to have a lot easier time seeing weight loss. So a big that's a big change, but it's not like a complicated change, I think, for a lot of people. And so that's why I would say for anyone who isn't at least in that arena yet, that's a great place to start. So taking out all of the or most of the things that are like fun foods, like um, you know, uh, breads and pastas and rice and things that are not so sort of not so filling, right? But they just add a bunch of calories to people's day when they maybe don't need them nutritionally at the time because they're really focused on the weight loss. Do I recommend 3 meals a day? Oh, yeah. So that's, I mean, another thing I would say is meal sort of timing or meal amounts or meal sessions, eating windows. I think snacking is the devil for unless you're underweight, right? But if you're trying to lose weight, I think snacking is a level of distraction from the focus you want to put into your diet. And so I would say that eliminating all snacking. And then the types of foods we tend to snack on are also the kinds of foods we should be eliminating. Those more processed foods, those are a lot more snacky, right? So I do 3 meals a day. I think 3 meals a day is great for a lot of people. Some people do better on two, but I actually find a lot of people that aren't successful on two can do better on three. Why is that? Well, a lot of people that move to 2 meals a day, they end up eating like lunch and dinner and they overeat and then they have a hard time not eating at night. And so sometimes if you have trouble not eating at night, adding breakfast, front loading some of your day's intake of food can be helpful to not being as hungry throughout the day. So you kind of get ahead of your hunger. So I think for a lot of people, 3 is a great number. I think it's like, but it's whole meals. if you're gonna, but if you're gonna skimp later in the day rather than earlier in the day. I think that is very helpful for most people. Is what I say true of every single person that ever exists? No. If you're out there and you're like, hey, I do great at breakfast and lunch and I don't eat dinner, great. If it's working for you, great. But I find a lot more people do great when they eat breakfast. So it doesn't have to be an early breakfast, but kind of getting ahead of the day. So I most of my clients in my Keto Unstuck program, I encourage to eat 3 meals a day. So, what does that look like for you? It's going to depend on what your needs are, but, I can tell you the sort of spectrum is, I think it kind of, for a lot of people for weight loss that I find, it goes from like carnivore to like moderate carb. I think a high carb approach for a lot of reasons, but during desire for weight loss and trying to improve metabolic health, if you're metabolically healthy, it's not the way that I would approach things. So I usually have people fall somewhere on that lower carb spectrum. Not just because I think carbs are the devil. I eat a moderate amount of carbs at this time, but I think it is much more difficult to manage weight loss when you're fighting the front on all areas. And I think focusing on protein and some healthy fat, and then if you need them, want them, can afford them, do well with them, including some high volume vegetables. Like, some people do great when they incorporate salad. I have a client though, whenever she has a salad, she has horrible stomach aches. Then that's not for her, right? So you've got to customize what works for your digestion, what works for whatever circumstances you're dealing with in terms of what foods you choose. But I think most people, fats and proteins as kind of a baseline for their diet is a great way to go. So Rita, back to your question, some tips for getting started. I would say eliminate, for the most part, highly processed foods. Focus your meals on healthy fats and proteins. Make sure you're getting enough protein in a meal. That would look like, 4 eggs, not 2. 5 or 6 ounces of meat, not 1, 2 or 3. And then, filling in from there with other foods that work for you. Go for 3, have breakfast, have lunch, have dinner. Don't eat too late. Give yourself some time to digest before bed. Don't snack. Make sure you're going for a walk every day. It just helps with hunger signals. It helps with keeping your body moving. It's just good for your good health. Drink water when you're thirsty. Get enough sodium in, make sure your electrolytes are okay. As you're losing weight, people's electrolytes can get a little wonky. So make sure you're getting plenty of salt and that kind of thing. Those are the sort of baseline small steps to losing weight. And then from there, you adjust as you need to. But I would say that, for the vast majority of the population, changing over your diet to appropriately sized meals 3 times a day, eliminate the snacking, get your body moving. It's good for your energy and your hunger. And reducing your food choices so that you're focused on nutrient dense foods and avoiding highly processed foods that people easily overeat on. I think if you do all that, that's going to get you pretty far in terms of starting your weight loss efforts. If you need more like specific information, I'm happy to answer that too. But, general, small steps. I think sometimes people get overwhelmed when they get into the minutia, into the details. And I don't want to overwhelm anyone. I think, if you get to a place where like, I'm already doing all those things and I'm still not seeing the success I want, that's something to troubleshoot. But if you're not already doing what I just described, start there. And that can be helpful. And that is just a way of life that someone could continue their whole life, right? I am, 7, 8, I think it's 8 years into my sort of experience of being a healthier human now. I still aim for 3 meals a day. I still try to get some walks in every day. I try and stick to with the exception of a couple of special occasions and special moments, I stick to whole foods, avoid processed foods or highly processed foods. I cook for myself and I eat at home more than I go out to restaurants. Rita says, will that be 2 to 3 pounds a week of loss? Rita, I would say 2 to 3 pounds of fat loss. Now, the first week of fat loss, somebody might lose a bunch of weight because of water weight. But I want you to know that 2 to 3 pounds of weekly weight loss, unless you weigh 300 pounds. If you weigh less than 300 pounds, 2 to 3 pounds would be a lot of weight loss a week. I think people have sort of unrealistic expectations about weight loss. A healthy rate of weight loss would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1% a week. So that's like if you weigh 200 pounds, the most I would expect would be 2 pounds in a week. But that's even a little aggressive for a lot of people. I think I just don't want to set people up for failure. And I think that this is a big reason that a lot of people fail. And I think this is a reason that we all have to be cautious, because having expectations that we're going to lose 2 to 3 pounds a week for more than a couple of weeks is very dependent. So if you're very heavy, if you weigh a lot more than your body naturally wants to weigh, it's entirely possible you might lose 2 to 3 pounds a week for a while. But let's say you're 15 pounds over your ideal weight, expecting 2 to 3 pounds a week is just disaster. You're gonna wreck yourself. You're gonna suffer both emotionally, hunger wise, and like mentally, and you're going to hurt your body. So, I think we need to be cautious about our expectations. That's one of the kind of downsides I see of our society. And Rita, I don't know what you weigh, so I don't know if that's a realistic expectation, but I'm speaking to sort of the general population, which is, there's a lot of women out there who get very disappointed about their weight loss not being as fast as they think it should be. And they end up sabotaging what is actually a very successful weight loss because it doesn't quite meet their expectations. So that's something I like people to get really like clear on and understand that, even a half a pound a week for, quite a bit of time is going to end up putting people in a very successful place. Whereas having sort of higher expectations, that much of that depends on how much you were overeating before, how much crap you were eating, and so just it's variable what you'll see. But I would say that having people had their expectations closer to like 1-ish pound a week for a lot of people, and for some even less than that. The less you weigh, the less you'll lose. So, that's something I think we have to take into account. And I remember being, in my early 20s when I flashed that picture and being like, oh, I don't want to do that diet. It's only promising that I'm going to lose a pound a week. That's not enough. I'm totally unacceptable. I need to lose this weight faster. And so if I don't lose this, if this plan, diet, whatever, isn't going to get me the 3 to 4 pounds a week that I want, because I got to be more of an acceptable weight sooner. And then I wasted 20 years doing that. Right? If I had just at 23 done a half a pound a week, even, for the next, 2 years, I would have been at an amazing weight for the rest of my life. Right. Whereas I was like, no, not good enough for so many years, which is nuts. So anyway, it's like a mental thing that I think is important to talk about. Nicole says, I love the banks. Thanks. They're new. That's so true. I always have to keep my expectations in check. It feels like the weight comes on so quickly. Oh yeah. And then takes a long time to come off. Yeah. If you were like, can you gain 2 to 3 pounds this week? I would be like, yep, I can. Absolutely. I can do that. And it's not supposed to be that way, but my body will do it. I can do it. So yeah, we have to have realistic expectations of our body, Because I see other people, and they do. There are some people who can lose rapidly. Those are not my people. Those are not people that tend to gravitate towards me, because they're people, they don't identify with my experience and the experience of the people that tend to work with me. And that experience tends to be slower. Anyway, but it's all encouraging. I mean, I know there's a part of our brains that are like, more, faster, no, not good enough. And that part, but that part of our brain, it should be killed, because that part of our brain sabotages us. So we need to be mean to that person inside of ourselves that says, it's not good enough, faster. And you're like, you don't know what you're talking about. That part of my brain, shut it, because you're wrong. That's not helpful. So anyway, yeah. So like, I mean, I am at this point approaching a weight that I haven't weighed since I started college. No, right. I went on a diet my freshman year of college. So, and that was the lowest I've weighed since like high school. But I'm in that neighborhood now, and I'm happy about that. And thank you, Rita. And I wouldn't have, and I didn't get here fast. And all the times I felt like I should go faster were the times that actually slowed me down. Right? All the time I wasted, the only wasted time was the time I wasted feeling bad about that I should do more, like that it wasn't going fast enough, that, like those things. That's a waste of thought. Now, if it's like, hey, I've evaluated and I could be doing something better, that's good. That's good thoughts. But just feeling down about yourself, that's just bad thoughts. So I think that all of us can do better with our thoughts, because we don't have to be stuck forever, and we can get out of the place that we're stuck in. So I'm here for you on that. So any last questions before we wrap it up for this lovely evening? Hey, Cindy, good to see you. All right, guys. Well, it was really nice to be here with everyone tonight. I look forward to the next weeks of summer and whatever we all are up to and whatever you all need help with. Please come back, and we'll see you next week on Tuesday. All right. Bye, guys.